Hi guys, today's video is another book review. It should be actually a pretty brief video, but it is on the Spiral Dance by Starhawk. I actually got this book probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been sitting on my counter, sitting on my shelf, waiting to be read, and I was really excited to read it because I thought she and I, we must have a lot in common. I've seen that documentary she does. I have all of them. And I really enjoyed listening to her talk, and I really enjoyed her views on so many things. And I was so excited to read this book. And I was very greatly disappointed when I finally did. It's about 200 pages long here. In the back there's a table of correspondence, but it's about 200 pages in total. Not real thick there, which was nice because having 3 kids, a big long thick book takes me years to get through, literally. So it was nice to have a decent sized book that I could actually get through a little bit at a time. Unfortunately, she and I apparently don't share the same views as much as I thought we did. And a great portion of the book had information or ideas or beliefs or practices that simply didn't fit with my practice and my beliefs and whatnot. It's important for me to note that this book, the price on the back there, I don't know if you can see that, says $9.50. So this is the original first edition. I got it secondhand somewhere. I do not know if future editions have changed some of the things that are in here that I disagreed with. I honestly can't tell you. This is the 1979 edition, and things were very different in 1979. The feminist movement was different, and the new witchcraft and pagan movement was very different. So I don't want to say, it's a bad book, don't read it. Because frankly, the exercises that are in the book, there's many real wonderful ones. And actually there's a few here that I will be adapting and most likely using for myself. One of the things that I really, really, really dislike about this book, and I think about most books in, again, this time period, 70s, early 80s, was the use of the word witchcraft in place of Wicca or Wiccan. It gives the impression that all witches feel this way, all witches believe this way, and this is how you have to be if you're a witch. And that I greatly disagreed with. I also was not very fond of many of the activities that are in here. Many of the practices that are in here are set up specifically for a coven. So if you're reading this as an individual like I am, you have to either adapt them or just skip over them. Some of them just frankly weren't adaptable to a single person, so they needed to just be skipped. The best part of this book, in my opinion, was the last chapter. Maybe that was because I didn't enjoy the rest of the book and I was so excited to get to the end. But the last chapter here, I don't know if you can see that, is creating religion toward the future. And again, this was written 30 years ago, so we're already in the future. But much of what she talks about here was really wonderful ideas, and almost as if it was her wish for what would happen in the future. And to some extent, I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing a greater love of Earth and a movement to green the way we live and to respect one another. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that movement on the scale that I wish I was seeing, or that I'm sure she wished at the time, that she wrote this, that we would be at this point. But that last chapter I really felt was wonderful. it was very inspirational, and it was very uplifting. If you are not Wiccan, I'm not Wiccan, then much of what is expressed in the book is not going to fit exactly what your beliefs are. Most likely. I guess I can't say that exactly, but I am polytheistic. I am not monotheistic. And it appears, the way that she has written this, as if she is, that I would list her as a monotheist from what she has written here. So while a lot of what she wrote is easily, is adaptable to my beliefs and to my practice, I felt as if I had to read the book with a huge chunk of salt on my shoulder at all times. And I almost had to feel like I had to translate. I would read a paragraph, read a page, and then I'd have to almost translate what she said into what I believe. So that was very unenjoyable, or if you will. But there were some very good points in this book. If you have it, if someone gives it to you, I would say read it. Take the time to read it. But unless you are Wiccan, hardcore Wiccan, or specifically fairy tradition, because that is where she comes from, it's probably not a book that I would suggest you go out and buy. Additionally, if you are not a, how do I term this, a 1970s feminist, some of her ideas as far as what feminism is don't fit modern day feminism. She talks about pornography, and there's a whole section in here where she's talking about marching against it and how it brings down the feminist movement, how damaging it is. And frankly, I consider myself a feminist, but I feel that feminism is about choice. And if I choose to own pornography, if I choose to participate in it, that's my choice. That doesn't disempower me. That doesn't disempower other women. It, in fact, is very empowering that I can make the choice to do those things. So some of those views were not at all what I agreed with either, and that made it a little difficult to enjoy the book as well. But like I said, if you have it, if someone gives it to you, read it. But it's not one that I will ever be listing as the must-read books, nor is it one that I feel everyone should be running out to read. So even though it's on many of those lists, it's really not one that I recommend myself. So take that for what you will, and blessed be.